60 to 70% of midlife women experience weight gain as a symptom of their transition to menopause. Due to those lovely hormonal imbalances, this weight gain tends to happen around our belly. In today's video, I'm going to share 6 nutrition tips and a super simple way to build your meals to finally lose that belly fat. So stick around. If you're new here, I'm Natalie UPP, owner of Fired Up Fitness and the creator of the online program, the Mom Bod TUNE-UPP, where I've helped hundreds of midlife women improve their transition through menopause with guidance on natural hormone support and weight loss to look, feel, and live better. So let's get started on talking about belly fat. As we move into menopause, our hormones really start to change, and more specifically, our estrogen and progesterone start dropping. When our estrogen begins dropping, it produces almost a tornadic effect on our other hormones, and specifically the ones that control our fat storage, our stress, our hunger and cravings, and satiety. Before I get into my favorite nutrition habits to beat the belly fat, first, I want to make sure you are working on 2 essential things. The first is managing your stress and taking into account how much stress is impacting your day. Everybody needs to practice that, having better stress, because we all have stress. Secondly, real quick, is on sleep. You want to make sure you are getting 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep a night. Those 2 things, sleep and stress, are more important than any of the nutrition actions that I'm going to talk about today. I could do a whole video on either one of those themselves, so if you want to learn more about that topic in a future video, let me know in the comments below. Okay, 6 habits that are going to help you reduce your belly fat. Number 1, eat mindfully. Eating mindfully can help prevent overeating and improve digestion. I know there's those nights where you're standing at the kitchen counter, getting ready to get out the door for soccer practice, and you're shoveling in your dinner to go as fast as possible. I want you to change up how you're doing this and sit down. Even set a timer if you need to, but you need to allow at least 20 minutes to finish your meal. Eating slowly, and at least it takes your brain and your stomach 20 minutes just to communicate to know that you're full. So you need at least 20 minutes. So not only do I want you to eat slower, but I also want you to eat mindfully until you're only 80% full. Sometimes your hunger and fullness hormones can be a little out of whack. So to help you get to this 80% full, I want you to put your fork down when you're looking at your plate and your food is halfway gone. I want you to put your fork down, take a drink of water, and just sit for a minute. If you're still hungry, keep eating and try to really tune into that hunger and fullness cues to get to where you're 80% full. You never want to leave a meal that you are just feeling stuffed and uncomfortable. Next on my list, eat 3 square meals, as in no snacking. The old advice of eating 6 small meals throughout the day ended up being not great advice for our blood sugar management. And this really affects us as we get older into menopause. Every time we eat, our blood sugar spikes and our pancreas secretes insulin. Your body just needs time in between those meals to bring the blood sugar back down and actually do its job of digesting. So instead of grazing all day, and let your body do its job by eating just 3 main meals each day. If you need a snack in between, that might be a good sign that you need to improve the meal that you had previously. But we're gonna get into how to do those meals in a little bit. So let's move on to tip number 3. Number 3, eat carbs last. When we eat, our body breaks down food into glucose and sends it into our blood. Insulin is then secreted and helps that glucose move from the blood into our cells. When glucose enters our cells, it's either used for fuel for our energy or it's stored for later use. Next up, improve your hydration. You want to be drinking half your body weight in ounces of water each day. That means if you are 150 pounds, you want to be taking in at least 75 ounces of water each day. Staying hydrated not only helps your appetite, but becomes more important the older that we get. Dehydration becomes more common in the menopause transition because there's a reduction of the hormones that are regulating our fluid balance. Before menopause, women are made up of 60 to 70% water. After menopause, it goes down to 55%. So make sure you're drinking that water. Dehydration can worsen menopausal symptoms like headaches, fatigue, and menstrual cramping if you're still in the perimenopause phase. If you're going from eating the standard American diet and you really haven't done very many lifestyle changes yet, adding an electrolyte or even a pinch of a good sea salt or Himalayan sea salt is great to add to your water a day. I'll put a link in some of the electrolytes that I use and recommend to my clients in the description. And you really only need one serving of those a day, but it does kind of change up just having plain water. But you can also do sparkling water, you can do tea that's unsweetened or just sweetened with a monk fruit or a stevia as other ways to get in your water for the day. My fifth tip, and one of my favorites, is intermittent fasting. This is probably the best hack I've learned and implemented to control my blood sugar and has literally stopped me from getting that hangry feeling that I used to get all the time up until I really started intermittent fasting. If you're new to fasting, try to eat all of your meals and drinks, anything that can spike your blood sugar, in a 12 to 13 hour window. So this might look like starting your breakfast or first meal at 7 a.m. and having all other meals in the day ending at 7 p.m. Then you're going to start your fasting window, which is going to be from 7 p.m. overnight until the next morning again at 7 a.m. So really, the majority of the fasting time is honestly when you're sleeping. Now, if this is too easy for you or a piece of cake, you can increase the time to 14 to 16 hours, let's say. So maybe you don't start your breakfast or your first meal until 9 a.m. and then you still end at 7 p.m. So your window has gotten a little bit shorter, but that is going to give your body more time during the fasting window to keep your insulin down and the prime time to burn fat. Now, I'm sure I'm gonna get a lot of questions about what you can have or not have during your fasting window, and I need to do probably another video on this as well. But one tip that I can give you that I use and really helps me, because I'm a coffee drinker, and I used to do all sorts of lattes and everything on a daily basis. Now I just do my black coffee, but I add a healthy fat to that to extend the fast, and that's something that does not increase my blood sugar, or that I have the effects of that anyways, and that is 1 tablespoon of an organic C8 MCT oil. And I'll put a link to what I use in my description of the video. These healthy fats help increase another fat burning energy source called ketones in our body. But while they're doing that, they also keep our blood sugar low. By the way, all of these tips are the exact ones that I help my clients turn into habits in my online program, the Mom Bod Tune-Up. So if you need more guidance and accountability, sign up for a free consultation call in the pinned comment below. On to habit number 6. Plan your indulgence meals. We all know that you should avoid sugar and junk food, right? Do you have to eat 100% perfect? Absolutely not. I don't want to, so I'm not going to recommend that you do either. I found that if you aim for about 90% of hormone-friendly foods for most of the week, you're going to be just fine. That's going to allow for 10% of the time to have what I call a planned indulgence meal or 2. I recommend you starting with just 1 meal a week until you really get more momentum of where you want to get in your fat loss goals. But if you start with 1 planned indulgence meal a week, it makes the rest of the week go pretty smooth. Planned indulgence meals are great to use for things like your girls' night out or birthdays or date nights or a special event that you have to go to. The key is to stay on track the rest of the week and eat for your hormones and happy blood sugar levels. Just to reiterate again, remember, keeping your blood sugar low keeps insulin low and allows your body to burn fat. Okay, so you're probably wanting to know how to build those meals. In addition to the plain indulgence meals, I teach clients how to build meals that both burn fat and support your hormones with smart carbs built around if you're having a cycle or not. Today, we're going to focus on just the first kind, those fat burning kind. I've created a super simple way to remember this. You'll want to start your fat burning journey with 90% of your meals a week coming from a 30-20-10 fat burning meal. I recommend doing these kind of meals for 4 to 6 weeks and then adding some variation to help support your hormones with some smart carbs. As I said before, these meals are going to focus on keeping insulin and blood sugars in check so your body has a chance to actually burn fat. These meals are going to fill some potential nutrient deficiencies that you might be having as you move through menopause, and they're going to help your body work more efficiently. The meal formula looks like this: a minimum of 30 grams of protein with about 20 grams of healthy fat and about 10 grams of fiber. 30, 20, 10. Easy peasy to remember. First, you want to choose the meal type, and this is really personal preference and for what time you might have. This could be, is it going to be a plated meal? Are you going to, do a crock pot recipe or a casserole or a skillet or a soup or a shake or a salad? So there's obviously so many different types of meals, but first decide what kind of meal you're going to have. Then you're going to decide your protein. So is this going to come from chicken or turkey or beef or steak or pork or fish? Or maybe if you're vegetarian, it's going to come from legumes or maybe a pea or rice-based protein powder. There's all sorts of different options where your protein can come from. Again, this is personal preference. If dairy agrees with your gut, you can also choose high protein dairy options that might include cottage cheese or Greek yogurt. You just want to look at the package and make sure you're getting a minimum of 30 grams of protein. The beauty of protein is that it's really hard to overeat. Next up, you want to select your healthy fats that's going to get you to a serving size of around 20 grams. It takes a little practice, but the more you start looking at these labels, you're going to understand how much of a serving you really need for each meal. Some of this fat might come from fattier protein like salmon or steak, for instance, but the rest of your 20 grams needs to come from healthy fats. It can come from a variety of sources really throughout the day, but some healthy oils like avocado or olive oil, even a grass-fed butter is a great healthy fat, and other things like nuts and seeds and even a fruit like an avocado. Healthy fats are what you're going to probably be cooking with, maybe like with your vegetables, like the oils, or you're going to be stirring in or drizzling on top like some healthy nuts or seeds on top of a salad. Healthy fats are what's going to make your meal savory. So we've done the 30, the 20, and then now we're on to the 10. And this is where our fiber comes in, that we are aiming for about 10 grams of fiber in our meal. Great options include low-carb veggies, greens, edamame, berries, especially raspberries, nuts and seeds, but especially chia seeds and flax seeds, and nuts like walnuts or almonds are all great option. Oh, and avocado. Avocado is it's a good healthy fat, but it also is a healthy fat with fiber. A 30-20-10 fat burning meal will help keep your blood sugar and insulin in a healthy balance. And when this happens, you'll feel full longer, you'll have steady energy, your cravings will subside, you won't get hangry, and your body will have a better opportunity to release its extra weight. Boom. There you have it, the 30-20-10 fat burning meal. If you pair these with at least a few of the 6 nutrition habits that I talked about before, you are going to be well on your way to getting rid of that belly fat. If you found this video helpful, please like it and share it with your friends. And if you need that step-by-step guidance, be sure to sign up for your free call in the link in the comments. Well, looks like it's time to go. Hope you're feeling fired up. Bye.